Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's ordinary meeting of council on the 25th of May. Firstly, council acknowledges the traditional owners of these lands, waters and skies, the Wadawurrung people. We acknowledge and respect their continuing connections to the lands, waters, skies, culture, and the contribution they make to the life and spirit of our community. We pay respect to their past and elders and their emerging leaders, and extend this respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Mr. CEO, do we have any apologies?
No, Mr. Mayor.
No apologies, thank you. Councillors, item 3, pecuniary interest and conflict of interest disclosures. Councillors, do we have any conflicts of interest?
No.
Officers?
No, Mr. Mayor.
No, thank you. Item 4, just note that Councillor Fleur Hewitt is currently on leave of absence. Item 5, public question time. 5.1, public question status update. There are no public questions outstanding. Public questions 5.2, in accordance with the council's public question time guidelines, questions must be written and received by the Chief Executive Officer prior to 3 p.m. on the day of the ordinary council meeting. Questions received after this time will be treated as correspondence and a written response provided consistent with the council's customer service charter. Questions can be lodged online via the Borough of Queensland website, by email, by a post, or in person by completing a public question time form. Councillors, we have 2 public questions. The first public question is from Liz Powell. The question is, in accordance with previous arborist reports received by council, July 2009, a recommendation for the community and campus safety was made to 1, removal of trees before summer. They were coloured yellow. Removal of trees in 1 to 5 years with maintenance coloured pink. These works have quite obviously not been completed. Why have they not been completed? Regard Liz Powell on behalf of many, many campers. I will ask the CEO to respond because I know he has been doing a fair bit of homework on this report from 2009. Thank you, Mr. CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And through you, thank you for your question, Liz. The report you are referring to is the draft tree management, removal and replacement strategy for Princess, Citizens and Victoria Parks, which was presented to council in August 2009 and prepared by John Patrick Proprietary Limited. Council considered this report at a special meeting of council on the 9th of October in 2009. Council noted the report, but did not adopt it. In making the decision, council did adopt and direct officers to immediately implement a summary report of agreed actions between John Patrick Proprietary Limited and a consultancy called Arb Ecology. Council accepted this report and implemented all of the actions set out in this summary report, including the removal of 8 mature Monterey cypress trees in Victoria Park.
Thank you very much, Mr. CEO. Public question number 2 is from the Rip Rumour. In the recent draft budget meeting, the CEO mentioned a tender was going out to commence works on the Point Lonsdale Toc H buildings. Has the tender in fact gone out, and can you detail how the project will proceed from here? Thank you very much from the Rip Rumour. Response from myself. The project manager is in the process of preparing the tender documents and will present an overview of this documentation to the Point Lonsdale Lighthouse Reserve Project Control Group this Friday. Once tender documentation is complete, it will then be put out to tender for a period of 3 weeks. Following the tender process and the assessment of tenders, a contractor will be engaged to undertake the works on the P1 huts. Thank you for everyone for those public questions. Councillors, item 6, confirmation of council minutes. Councillors, recommendation is there. That's the minutes of the ordinary meeting of council of the Borough of Queensland held on 27th of April 2022. As distributed, be confirmed as an accurate record. Can I get someone to move that, councillors?
Yes, thank you.
Councillor Grigger, thank you. Second, Councillor Tolhurst, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 7, record of informal meetings meetings of councillors. They are listed there. The recommendation that the record of informal meetings of councillors as presented in adjunct to item 7 be noted. Can I get someone move that? Thank you, councillor Grant. Seconded, councillor Tolhurst. Thank you very much. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 8, notice of motion. No motions on notice outstanding. 8.2 motions on notice. No notices of motion were received. 9 petitions and joint letters. 8.9.1 petitions and joint letters. None received. Councillors, item 10, functions attended. You can see before you the list, the report there. Can I get someone move that we accept that report, please? Councillor Grant, you'd like to move and you'd like to make a change?
Yeah, just with the following changes, please, if you can note these. So on the 5th of May, 2022, I was unable to attend that G21 Transport and Planning meeting. However, I did attend on the 13th of May, 2022, the G21 Integrated Transport Strategy Workshop number 3.
Thank you, councillor Grant. If there's no further changes, it's moved by councillor Grant. Can we someone to second that, please? Councillor Brigger, thank you, councillor Brigger. All those in favour with the changes?
Yes.
Thank you. So moved. Item 11, Chief Executive Officer, 11.1, Chief Executive Officer report. I'll hand over to you, Mr. CEO.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Lots of activity through the month. And I've captured some of the things that I thought were worth sharing with yourselves and with the community. So I'll take the report as read and happy to take any questions.
Thank you. I'll get someone to move and second the report first. Can I get someone to move? Councillor Tolhurst, seconded.
Yes, thank you.
Councillor Grigard, do we have any questions for the CEO? Yeah. Councillor Tolhurst.
Just on the flag raising for Ida Hobbit, the Victorian Pride Lobby confirmed through the week that we were one of 90% of councils in Victoria, one of 90% of the LGAs that raised a flag for Ida Hobbit. And that well done to the team for getting this commemorative day into our diaries at relatively short notice. I'm confident this is a symbol of the inclusive work and progressive work we can do at the borough. Thank you.
Well said, councillor Tolhurst. Councillors, any other? Councillor Grigard.
Just regarding this Ida Hobbit Day, what council programs are provided for the LGBTQI plus A plus community, and what is the uptake on these programs?
Mr. CEO.
Through Mr. Mayor, the council presently has no specific programs for the Ida Hobbit community. We do in our council plan have intended actions around inclusive activities, inclusiveness in the policies that we make, and we'll continue to work with council to see whether or not we need to have a specific program.
Any other questions, councillor Grigard?
Yes, regarding the tree planting, what's the maturity of the trees that we're planting in the borough in this planting program?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I would need to take that one on notice. My understanding generally is that it's a tube stock because that gives the trees the best chance to survive. But I will take it on notice and confirm that for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Councillors, I just have one more myself. It's just in regard to the National General Assembly for local government in regard to our motion that we're taking forward to Canberra. I'd like to thank the CEO for continuing to push this on behalf of council, and also to thank past and current councillors for endorsing this project. It's something which I've been working with our local QRAR for a few years now, and I know from speaking to the Sue and Kathy from the QRAR, they're very excited and pleased that we're taking this further to Canberra, even though our new government have indicated that they will be withdrawing the temporary protection visas, the requirement for such. Until that actually happens, I think it's really important that we continue to advocate for that to take place. So thank you for raising that to everyone, Mr. CEO. Any other questions for the CEO in regards to his report? No, so we have a mover and
Yeah, I'll just add to that, Mr. Mayor, if I may, that, we recognise that a whole lot of lives are on permanent hold while they're stuck on temporary protection visas. So I think this is a really important initiative, and this council was unanimous in continuing to push for this.
Thank you, councillor Grout. Yes, we have a mover and a seconder. Can I get all those in favour? Sorry. David, thank you. Did you put your hand up? Councillor?
Yes.
Yep. Sorry, thank you. You're a bit too quick for me, I think.
No.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Item 12, health and wellbeing, no reports to consider. Item 13, environment, we have no reports to consider. And 14, local economy, no reports to consider. Item 15, the heritage planning and infrastructure. 15.1, planning permit activity report. I'll hand over to Mr. CEO, who's looking after things tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you. This is the report the council receives every month, just to give you an outline of the activity that we're undertaking within the planning team. I'm happy to take any questions you may have about the report.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. I'll just get someone to move and second. We accept the report. Move and
Yeah,
second.
happy to move that.
Councillor Grout, seconded Councillor
Thank you.
Grugel. Do you have any questions for the CEO in regard to planning?
I think for the second month running, we're not asking for any particular briefings, so no, we're happy with this report.
Doing a good job, Mr. CEO, with the planning report. Everyone's too scared to ask you for a briefing.
It's just been very good addition to see the number of objections that we're actually getting on items. So
Yeah, no, it certainly helps us in our process when deliberating about what we need more information about in the future. So, yeah, thank you for that. Council's item 16, governance and finance, 16.1, appointment of council portfolios and delegates.
Yes.
Yes, sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry, that's right. Thank you, Jackie. Nice to hear from you, Jackie. 16.1, governance and finance. 16.1, appointment of council portfolios and delegates. Mr. CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you. As the report sets out, following the resignation of Councillor Susan Salter, we were an election to appoint Councillor Isabel Tolhurst to the council. That means that there is a couple of vacancies in some of the portfolios that we run through council and some of the committees that we run through council. So this was a report really to fill those vacancies and to take the opportunity for council to review those positions and make a decision about how you might fill them. So.
Thank you, Mr. CEO, and I'll hand over to Councillor Grigel. Would like to speak to the motion.
I'll speak to the motion that that council determine the council appointments to portfolios through to November 2022. So regarding council plan portfolios, we're looking at health and wellbeing, Councillor Grigel. Local economy will be Councillor Ebbels. Environment, Councillor Hewitt. Heritage planning and infrastructure, Councillor Grout. And governance and finances, Councillor Tolhurst. And for determination of councillors representing on council's audit and risk committee, we'll look at Councillor Ebbels, Councillor Hewitt, and Councillor Tolhurst. Regarding a determination of representatives on the CEO Performance Review Committee, will be the Mayor, Councillor Ebbels, Councillor Tolhurst, and Councillor Grout.
Thank you very much, Councillor Grigel. Can I get someone second it? Thank you, Councillor Grout. Would anyone like to speak to the motion? No, if not, all those in favour? Thank you, so moved. And congratulations, Councillor Tolhurst. You now have a portfolio. Couple more jobs to do, which is good to see. Item 17. We seem to be moving pretty quick tonight, Mr. CEO. Authorization of signing and sealing of documents. There are no reports to consider. Item 18, question without notice. 18.1 question without notice status update at the Ordinary Council of 27th April 2022. Two questions without notice were taken on notice. The response is provided at adjunct to item 18.1. There are no questions without notice outstanding. 18.2 questions without notice. Councillors, do we have any questions without notice? Councillor Grigg?
Yes, that was me. Just in the light of COVID-19 positive test results in Victoria, with an average, rolling average of over 10,000 in the last 7 days and 10 cases in the borough, what plans do we have in place for this winter to look after our community and our council staff?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I can certainly talk to the plans for our council staff. So we've, over the last couple of weeks, we've sent out some regular correspondence to our staff, encouraging them to really put back in place the COVID-19 protocols and hygiene protocols that we had in place for the last 2 years. We're asking people to work from home if they can work from home, and especially if they're showing any symptoms. So we'll put back in place, in effect, what we had to sort of manage and protect each other through that. With respect to the community, we obviously have our response plan that sits under the state plan if there is an outbreak here. But we are really taking guidance from the state in terms of what we need to do or have to do in relation to protecting the community. And at the moment, as you are all aware, there are no real mandates or rules in place that effectively or that are responding to the shift in numbers for COVID at the moment. So,
good. Thank you, Mr. CEO. Any further questions? No, councillors, thank you. Thank you, Mr. CEO. Thank you, Councillor Grigg. Item 19, list of council meetings. On the Wednesday, the 1st of June at 6 p.m, we're hearing our budget submissions. Wednesday, the 8th of June, planning review meeting if required. Our next ordinary council meeting is Wednesday, the 22nd of June at 7 p.m. Can I also just quickly add that next Monday at midday here in the town hall, there will be a memorial service for the late Councillor Susan Salter. So certainly if anyone would like to come along, you'd be more than welcome to pay some respects to, obviously, to a long-term councillor and someone who's contributed greatly to our community for many years. And we'd like to see you come along if you'd like to do so. So thank you very much. Item 20, councillors, the recommendation that in accordance with the section 66(1) and 66(2)(a) of the Local Government Act 2020, the meeting be closed to members of the public for the consideration of the following confidential items. 20.1, confirmation of 27th April 2022 confidential council meeting minutes. 20.2, community grants, community reference group, expressions of interest. 20.3, community service awards 2022. Councillors, get someone move that recommendation. Move Councillor Grant, seconded Councillor Tolhurst. Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. And for those people watching online and in the gallery, thank you. And we'll see you again soon.